About 10 years ago, one of my closest friends went through a really, really bad breakup. And I could see that it was affecting them in a very, very bad way. And I could see, having suffered from depression and mental health problems myself, which I'll get onto in a minute, that he was going into thought patterns and spiraling down into this awful, dark miasma of depression, which I was very, very worried, if not treated or if not, looked at, or if his friends, us lot, didn't look after him, might result in him doing something stupid. He was just in a really, really bad way. You could see he was really, really struggling. And he announced that he was going to Australia for a month to travel around Australia on his own. And I was really, really worried about him. I was very concerned that he was going out there on his own, and that, if you're away on holiday and you're struggling to be happy, then you might beat yourself up for not enjoying your holiday, and it'd get worse and worse and worse, and he'd be on his own, and he might even do something really, really stupid. So just before he went, I wrote him a letter. And when I gave him the letter, I said to him, don't open this letter, mate, until you're on the plane, you've got yourself a gin and tonic in your hand. And I know what you're going to say, alcohol doesn't help with that sort of thing. And you're right, but, he's on holiday, he's probably going to have a G&T on the plane. I said, I want you to read it when you get on the plane, you've got that gin and tonic, you're taken off from Heathrow, read it then. And the letter said to my friend that I love him, that all my friends group, we all love him, that any social event is diminished when he's not there. Any dinner or party or when we go out isn't as good when he's not around. And that I just value his friendship so much, and that I value him being around, his intelligence and all the great things that make him such a brilliant person. And just telling him that he's a brilliant person. And I wrote on this letter, I said, it's not feasible to be 100% happy 100% of the time. And especially when you're away on holiday and you're going through what you're going through, that's going to be really hard to do. So don't beat yourself up. So I said, if you're ever thinking about doing anything stupid, open this letter and read this letter while you're away on holiday. And about, later that day or the next day when he finally got to Oz, he sent me a text just saying, oh mate, thanks ever so much for that letter, it was really nice. And I kind of sort of forgot about it, really. Forgot about the letter after that. So myself, I've suffered from depression since I was probably about 20. And it's a bit weird to say that, actually, because a lot of people have been like, oh, how can you suffer from depression? You've got this YouTube channel, you're a happy, outgoing person. And I am a happy, outgoing person, don't worry. Depression doesn't define who I am or anything like that. In fact, I've learned in, nearly 20 years how to deal with it and to live with it, and actually sort of, it's actually part of me now. I don't see it as something that's bad. It's actually something that informs how I am and what my outlook is like on the world. Not that it's always bad. It's actually usually really quite good. But yeah, I suffered from depression when I was younger. I did have to take antidepressants, and it was a horrible time. It really, really was. I had no motivation. I was lethargic. I was irritable. And all these things I didn't really realise at the time were what depression kind of was for me. And it wasn't until I interviewed a psychologist on my other YouTube channel, Times with James, that we basically had a look into things like CBT, and CBT really helped me out because it's a very logical way of looking at how you think about things and how thought patterns and the way you think about yourself can affect the way you are. And that really helped me out. Another thing that really helped me out, another thing that helped me survive, was going to the gym. Going to the gym a lot and doing lots of training, lots of cardio work, just pushing weights and not thinking about anything else really, really helped. And gradually over time, I've actually learnt to live with depression, and I've learnt to recognise some of those early signs that I might be spiralling again into perhaps a depressive episode, and that I could stop that from happening really quite easily. And it's now actually not, I'd say now it's actually not really part of my life that much at all. Sometimes I am upset or sad about things because they're upsetting or they're sad, and that is normal, isn't it? When bad things happen, it's perfectly normal to feel bad about them. But it's when you don't perform at work maybe very well and you start beating yourself up over stuff like that, I then think those are things that they're not really worth worrying about. But that being said, one of the big triggers for me was a feeling of being overwhelmed by the fact that I had so much work to do, because I do have quite a nutty life, doing like YouTube, being a plumber. I hire this studio out to people. So one of the tips that I had, along with going to the gym, getting outside, seeing your friends, being social, which is so easy to say, but I felt the worst thing. So I know for some people watching this now, if you are in the pits of depression, it's just hard to hear someone say that. But one of the things that helped me out was actually organising my week so I had some sort of structure to it. I know that my wife's going to laugh at this now because she still thinks that I go through this complete mad world of bouncing around and doing videos and going out, playing golf and seeing my mates and all that sort of thing, and sometimes seeing her as well, which I'm sure she likes. Oh, there goes my phone. It's probably her now. Anyway, so that's helped me through all those things, and I think a lot of us have a little bit of depression in us, and it's perfectly healthy to have that within you. It's just sometimes it gets you, and you need to know when to ask for help. And in a way, my friend didn't know when to ask for help. I was fortunate enough that I spotted it, and some of our other friends spotted it as well. So going back to my friend, to finish this little story, this little video off on World Mental Health Day. So going back to my friend, about 5 years later, after he'd been away and had the letter and everything, he was, fine and back to normal. We were at a party together, and we were out the back in my garden, probably having a couple of glasses of red, and we were all outside with loads of people. Then everyone sort of seemed to go inside, and I was left alone with my friend. And I said to him, I was like, how's it going now, man? How are you doing? And we had a little chat, and then he looked at me, and he put his hand in his pocket and he took his wallet out. And I kind of struggled to tell this story. He took his wallet out, and out of his wallet he took out this piece of paper, and it was the letter that I'd sent him 5 years before. He'd kept it in his wallet that whole time, and he said to me, I've looked at this letter a few times, and he said, I just want to thank you for doing that. And it's funny, isn't it, how we are as blokes and as people, I guess. I sent him that letter. He texted me the next day saying, thanks for the letter, mate. And I was like, yeah, no worries, man. And just left it at that. And it took 5 years for him to, 5 years for us to find the right time as friends to finally bring that letter back into our lives again and speak about it. So I suppose the moral of the story is sometimes your friends do need help. Sometimes I think letters are a thing of the past for a lot of people, and they really shouldn't be. They're a lovely way of really organising your thoughts, and they're a tactile, proper way, if I can think of any other English, to show someone how you feel in a structured, kind of nice, thought out way. So maybe if you do think someone needs help, think about just sending them a letter and giving it to them, and they can read it and they can think about it. You don't need to be there when they take that in, when they take that message in, but I can guarantee you it will change their life. And if you are someone who's struggling, then just think about asking someone for help. I understand there are a lot of other people on YouTube who've made videos like this, and they've made them better than I could have done. Like my friend Nick Bundy, for example, has done some great videos on mental health and all that. And I don't want to do this for everyone to think, oh, bloody hell, Plumber Parts is constantly depressed or all that sort of thing. Believe me, I'm not. I'm very happy, I'm fine, I'm content, and I love my life, and it's just great. I mean, sometimes I'm like, wow, this life is mad. But look out for each other, have fun, go outside, see your friends, get some exercise, and do all the things our government stopped us from doing for whatever reason over those last few years. Thanks for watching. See you soon.